Hello, everyone. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. I hope everyone is all well out there in the world and enjoying this summer. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to enjoy the summer and sunshine, and it is a very, very hot and incoming hot week in the UK. I'm here to talk about the midfield mystery on why this midfield hasn't been addressed sooner, why this midfield hasn't been addressed when we are literally 3 days out to the start of the season. Matheus Fernandes also. I'm going to speak about him. We have got some sensitive souls in this West Ham world. Some people say that I know nothing about business. And then there's some people will say that why the fuck are we going in and bidding for a player that we know is going to get instantly rejected when we need the player urgently. But before I get into that, people, please do smash a like on the video. It goes a long way. Please do subscribe to E20 Zone TV. Hit the notification bell. And if you want to become a member of the channel, check out the membership stuff on that. Yesterday was baffling, really. Yet again, sensitive souls out there in this West Ham world. And people say stuff and try and come at me. And then I spin it on them and then they sort of act like fucking idiots. The amount of people that I've seen blocking and unfollowing me is unreal, right? But I'm sorry, I won't be silenced until this fucking owner is out the door. Simple as that, yeah? Because a serious owner puts a serious bid in for a serious player and doesn't muck about and leave it till 3 days to the start of the fucking season, right? I do not understand why West Ham have gone through the whole summer, and we are now coming up to Sunderland away, and the midfield hasn't been addressed. Everyone knew last year that the midfield was the problem at West Ham. We must change the midfield area, right? We must get energy in the midfield area. Right, what has happened in this summer? How can this summer pass us by so much so that we are now coming up to Sunderland and nothing's changed in the midfield area? Now, this is something that I look outside the box. I look out of afar. I go, you know what? I don't look at what's in front of me. I look at like what they trying to do. And on this one simply baffles me. It really does. It feels like to me West Ham are waiting for something. Yeah, because if you really wanted these midfield players, you'd be going out and putting bids everywhere, right? And basically causing like something to happen. What it feels like to me is West Ham are waiting to the end of the window, right? They're waiting to the end of the window and hoping that they can nab a player or two at a club who might not be wanted, might not be in the first team, and might need a fresh start somewhere else. Do you know what I'm saying? That's all well and good, but we've got a tough old start, and we need to sort this midfield out. Now, yesterday, Matheus Fernandes, people saying, "Oh, they want 50 million. That's it." We wanted 70 million pounds from Mohamed Kudus, right? And we was never going to get it, right? So I'm not going to go mad and say pay 50 million pounds for Matheus Fernandes because he's not worth 50 million. He's worth about between 37 and a half and 40 mil for me. He's in that ballpark, yeah. So if you put a bid in of say 38, it's a pretty good bid in my opinion for a player that is young, that it will keep and hold his value, right? He will, and a player that is only going to go upwards in his career. But people think, you know what, just keep changing targets all the time. This is Potter's number one target. This is the man Potter wants. So you have to deliver on him. Now, the question I also have to ask is if you know that he is your number one target, how comes it has come out now how much Southampton want for him? Like, if you've gone through the whole summer knowing and thinking, right, Whufc, I'll get the goalkeeper Hermansen, I'll bring you a couple of free transfers. Who's your main guy for midfield? Matheus Fernandes. Well, how much do you reckon he's going to cost? You would find that out. Do you know what I mean? And for them to not find it out is baffling. It really is. So I think West Ham should go in for him again. I see comments, I see other things and other platforms and other channels saying, "Oh, they can't pay the money." If Jacob Ramsey can go for £40 million, yeah, West Ham have to go out and not match these fees, but try and get as close to these fees as possible. Because listen, the price of players is going up. Lesser players are going for high fees. Is Jacob Ramsey a £40 million player? I don't look at it and think so. I think it's about 35, but you're gonna have to pay over the top to get this man in. I've seen West Ham pay over the top for shit before, for absolute crap. And with this player, Fernandes, if it doesn't work out, you can sell him for roughly what you pay for him. You ain't really losing nothing here. So, it's we've got to sort the midfield situation out. Now, Saturday is coming, and Saturday will be here before too long. And I'm worried about that midfield because the longer this does go on and the situation sort of develops, the longer I see Josh Brownhill in a West Ham shirt. And if Josh Brownhill ends up in a West Ham shirt and we go for a player that Potter doesn't want deep down, then I'm sorry, how can anyone get on the geezer's back? He's had two players like this summer that are his players, and he's trying to work with what he's got. And we have got a team or a squad currently right now, which has players of David Moyes' era, Julian Lopetegui's era, and Graham Potter. And it's going to take a lot of time to get these players out and for him to restructure the side. One thing I can say about Potter and McCauley that I've noticed straight away, they're buying young, they're buying talent, and they're going to develop that talent. That to me, I'm down for. You brought in Freddie Potts, which people seem to forget that he's trying to develop him. He's brought in Scholes. He gave Scholes his first start against Aston Villa in the FA Cup. Right, comes in as the manager, starts him straight away. So you've got to give Potter credit for that. And do we want a young, fresh, up and coming side? Absolutely. But for young, fresh talent, you've got to have to play the money. You simply do. And West Ham seem to always overpay. Yeah, they seem to overpay for shit, and then they just don't want to overpay for quality. Do you know what I mean? And potential. So, you know, if Southampton can't budge, then you're going to have to move on, right? Who you move on to is the next mystery. Is it El Canoes? Is El Canoes really the guy for West Ham? I think he's a bit too lightweight for me, right? But if he comes, I'm not going to be negative about it. He's a player. He's coming. Great. Yeah. The Lille player, I just don't buy. I just don't buy it at all. Like we play him on the Saturday. The link comes out on the Monday. I've noticed it so many times over this summer, right, that an event will happen and then West Ham will get linked to a player that we need in that position. I see it with the under-23s. England going win the under-23s. And Charlie Cresswell, centre half. We need a centre half at the time because we didn't know where Nav Gued was. Monday morning, link comes out. He's linked to West Ham, and I've seen it all throughout the summer. I can't stress enough, so I don't buy that one. The issue is why is it taken so long? And I really can't work this one out. I really can't, unless they are going to try and sell someone. That's the main thing that I'm thinking. Are they looking at waiting for a bid from a club towards the back end of the window who might need a defensive midfielder? And say, for instance, it's Edson Alvarez, use him as an example, because he's the only one who can generate funds in that midfield because Ward-Prowse ain't going nowhere. One, he's a Potter boy, it seems like, at the minute, which is not good. Two, he's on 115k a week. So wherever he goes, he ain't going to get that. So I think Edson Alvarez would be in the frame to be at the door. He generates funds. The money that they've currently got now, you add that money to it, you can buy two players. And that's where my concern is why it's taken so long. Right. And I do not understand why. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me on that. For me, to round this up, I think West Ham should go in again for Matheus Fernandes. I think 35-5 gets him out of there. I think you put a bit of 35-5 in, Southampton look at it and think they're 10 million, they're 10 million away from the fee that they sort of want, but they've inflated that fee by probably about 5 million. So technically you're 5 million away from what we really want. Do they leave it and wait, or do they take it and reinvest? I think Southampton will take it. And I think West Ham get a really good player. I think Potter gets his number one target. Southampton get a really good fee for a player that they bought last year for peanuts. Everyone's a winner. If we change targets, are we going to have a similar situation on the next target where we're going to go in again, lowball the situation again? Because it ain't the first time he does it, and people say it's business. That's what you do in business. The biggest load of shit I've ever read in my life, because I've been in business, right? I've run things business wise, and you don't go in there with a bid that you know is going to get instantly rejected, because then you're just wasting time and you're dragging. Do you know what I'm saying? You look at what they want, you evaluate what they want, and you put a bid in that you makes them take note. Do you know what I mean? Not a bid that is being laughed out the room and chucked out. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, that's enough from me. Take care of yourselves out there. Be safe, be well. Might be back later on tonight with Jay. Jay is back in action, and we might do a video later on this evening. But for now, take it easy. Can West Ham change our fortunes? Let's hope so. Peace.